I'm passing to Senator O'Sullivan, but I'm going to pinch a little bit of his time, and I have started the clock, because there's just a couple of things I want to clarify. Professor Triggs, you've heard evidence that, but you've, I don't think, ever mentioned this, that you asked Mr Moriartis to find out what the attorney or the government thought of the commission and your presidency. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct.
Okay, so you never asked that?
No, as I explained earlier, my concern throughout December and January was not about me or my relationship with the attorney, which, so far as I was aware, on the 10th of December was in good shape, especially as he had offered a new project for the Commission, had spoken very well of the Commission and me and other commissioners at that award. I had no reason to think that there was any concern about me personally. What I was, as I did explain earlier, and I'm repeating my evidence, I was very concerned about the misinformation and inaccurate reporting that had been in a particular Australian newspaper. And were it one or two items, I would probably not have thought about it. But we had something at that time, something like 26 or 28 separate items. So I was.
So what was your specific
request? I would like to answer your question, if I may.
Well, the question was, what did you ask?
The answer that I'd like to give is that my question to the Secretary during his holidays was in order to find out what the department and the attorney thought about the criticisms of my findings and recommendations in reports to Parliament, and whether he could ascertain just what the attorney thought about this and what damage he felt was being done to the Commission by the inaccurate reporting in that particular newspaper. I can assure you that I was not ringing because I was concerned about my relationship with the attorney. I had no reason to believe that relationship was anything other than cordial.
Yes, but you asked the Secretary what the attorney thought about the Commission, you said.
No, about the place of the Commission in the public arena, and about the level of misreporting that had been taking place that was damaging the very important non-partisan position of the Commission, and the fact that reports of mine to Parliament were being publicly criticised. And that's what worried me, and that was what was happening throughout December and earlier, in fact, but basically December and January.
Okay. So you didn't ask to find out what the government thought about you and the Commission, but what the government thought, or what the government was doing about the criticisms of you and the Commission?
Well, I didn't ask that question either. I was asking.
Well, can you just, as best you can recall, precisely what you did ask Mr Moriartis to do?
I've really given evidence twice in answer to that question. The answer is that I rang because I was very worried about.
No, what did you ask? I'm not asking your feelings. What you asked him, what you said to him.
I rang expressing my deep concerns about the level of public criticism in a particular newspaper, and comments that were being made about the work of the Commission. And I wanted to know whether Chris could find out whether the attorney himself was worried about that misinformation and inaccurate reporting, whether there was anything that he felt he could do about it, and where he felt things were going with the Commission, coupled with the question, can you tell me now, and this was January, can you please tell me when our children's report will be published, or tabled rather, because we were so worried that it would be out of time.
Okay, so I'd like, Professor Triggs, if you could use in the first term, as best you can recall, as Mr Moriartis has been asked to do, exactly what your words were to him. Not a commentary thing. Well, you can't ask Ms O'Brien, she wasn't there. What you actually said to him in your words.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Well,
Chair,
did you say,
I did not
I
ask
am
Ms.
concerned
O'Brien
about, I am, this is what I want you to say. Mr Moriartis, I am
this
concerned.
Is what I want you to say.
I am concerned at what the Australian is writing, and I would ask that you ask the attorney, whatever. I want you to put it in the first person, what you said.
Look, I believe I've answered that several times now. It's on the Hansard record. You can check that, but I've been absolutely clear
Now, you've been giving editorial. You've been talking about yourself in the third person. I want to know what you actually said to Mr Moriartis.
I've just given you that evidence as carefully as I can, the essence being that it was not about me personally. It was, would he find out from the attorney?
Okay, so, Mr Moriartis, would you find out from Senator Brandis?
As I said, I've given that evidence. I can keep repeating it.
No, but see, this is the difficulty, Professor Triggs. You're talking about yourself in the third person. I want to know exactly what you said. I said this, I said that, I asked this. Because from your explanation, I can well understand Mr Moriartis's interpretation that you were saying, what does the attorney think about me and the Commission? And you've got the answer from Mr Moriartis. That's why I'm really keen to find out exactly, as best you can recall, what your words were. Now, I know you had some trouble last estimates remembering exactly what happened and asked me what I said yesterday, and I couldn't be able to do it. But I'm asking you, to the best of your ability, what you...
Come on.
That's gratuitous. I think Mr Moriartis said.
Who's chairing the chair while the chair's not chairing?
To another.
Do you understand that, Professor Triggs? Just forget the interjections that are unruly. Yeah. Can you say as best you can what exactly you said in the first person?
I've given my testimony. I am not going to engage in the exercise that we did for nearly 5 hours last time, in which I was questioned over and over again till you forced answers from me.
Forced answers from you.
I will not engage in that process again. Okay. I will ask for the courtesy of being allowed to refer to my testimony that I've given on a number of occasions.
Thank you, Professor. And it's okay to ask Mr Moriartis time and time again the same question and which words he actually used, but I see there seems to be different standards from each end of the table. And now, Professor Triggs, you said, now again, you've said, Mr Moriartis said, used the word resignation. Mr Moriartis denies that. It's up to anyone who's listening to make their own view on who's telling the truth. I know what my view is, but let's leave that aside. But you said in your evidence, if you resigned, it would be, quote, damaging to the Commission if I resigned. Professor Triggs, how do you think the Commission will look after the release of this inappropriately called Forgotten Children report?
It's a hypothetical question. I have no idea what's going to happen in the future.
Well, you were worrying about damaging to the Commission if you resigned. I'm asking, how do you think the Commission will end up? Do you think it will be damaged by the release of the Forgotten Children report?
Point of order.
Point of order, Chair.
Just hold one minute.
I think you're asking the officer for an opinion, which you've actually ruled out in relation to a number of other questions.
No,
what do you think? What do you think? Well, Chair, I maintain on what basis?
No point of order.
Because you just want to be biased.
Oh.
Is that how it is? You can't rule on yourself.
Sorry.
This will be taken.
Now, Professor Triggs, you said in your own words it would be damaging to the Commission if I resigned. I'm asking you, do you think it would be damaging to the Commission? Well, I'm asking you in the same line, is it damaging to the Commission following the release of the Forgotten Children report?
No, and the reason for that is that now, at last, the report is in the public arena. We are able to ask the public to read our report. It is credible, objective, based on medical evidence and on the departmental data. The report stands on its own, it speaks for itself, and I'm now very confident that the report is in the
Commission hasn't been damaged.
In the arena, and therefore the Commission will in fact be... The Commission will be strengthened, I believe, by our absolute determination to stand by our statute.
Professor, I've got
and
that.
To continue our work
you answer
and our
my
job.
questions, please, not just
Point of order,
wander
Chair.
off. She's answered the question.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
Could the witness please be allowed to finish?
As I said to the Secretary of the Department yesterday, These estimates are for senators to ask questions
Your behaviour
of
is a
officers.
disgrace. You are
Would
a
you
disgrace.
please leave me finish?
So
your rudeness,
people can't interrupt
Senator
you, but
Wong,
you can
is
interrupt
typical
Professor Triggs.
of your rudeness in the Senate. And now, can I just
So you can interrupt
make
everyone else, but no one can interrupt you.
Now, Professor Triggs, you've answered the question. You don't believe the Commission was damaged, which was what I asked, not for a lengthy explanation of your reasons for thinking that.
whether it was damaged.
Now,
You asked whether it
I
would
do
be
want to
damaged.
ask you, Professor Triggs, who selected the name Forgotten Children?
We discussed various alternatives amongst the inquiry team, and we agreed that that was the appropriate name given what had happened to the children.
Okay, and the fact that the evidence from the department and every fair observer is that the children have been far from forgotten. They've been released from detention since the government changed. Well, it's a matter of fact.
Fair person.
Well,
You wouldn't know a fact if it was staring you in the face.
I don't know that Professor Triggs has
you
to
see
answer
what I have
this.
to put up with in this committee? I get yelled at from either
Yes, we feel
end.
so sorry for you, Chair.
Yeah. Okay. Now look, Professor Triggs, I'm asking you in a situation where this government has released so many children out of detention, has spent such a lot of time, effort, concern and money on their welfare. How could anyone possibly say they are forgotten?
You missed the length of detention issue after all of this.
Well, I'm asking Professor Triggs,
Tim Wilson will tell
if
you
you
that.
want to give evidence, Senator, somehow get yourselves on the witness list. But Professor Triggs.
I'm not sure I really understand your question. What is it you're concerned about?
Well, I'm saying you called it the Forgotten Children and you've explained why. I'm saying in the light of these children being released from detention in very substantial numbers by the current government, in the fact that the current government has spent so much time, effort, compassion and
just
money
200
in looking after the the health of these children, how can you say that they've been forgotten?
The report covered the period of January 2013 through till about October 2014, from January 13 to about October 2014. And so we were dealing with children who, on average now, have been held for 1 year and 6 months, those that remain. So they have been held for a very, very long time.
Okay, but they've hardly been forgotten,
And if I
have
could
they?
compare that with, for example, United Kingdom practice, where the maximum is 72 hours, to leave children in detention, as some remain in
Okay,
detention
thank
for
you.
1
So-
year and 6 months,
Okay, well, you've
I
explained
think
that.
amply justifies
Thank
the title
you.
of
You've
Forgotten
explained
Children.
that. Now, Senator O'Sullivan, I've taken most